Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? What is the meaning of life? Why does Sega keep trying to change Sonic's orange blue? All equally important questions that the world continues to chase the answers to. We may never find those answers. And actually, maybe that's a good thing. Cartoons and other such media tend to have a structure, a status quo, a formula. Mario fights Bowser to save the Mushroom Kingdom. Tom chases Jerry in an endless game of cat and mouse. And Sonic faces the evil Dr. Eggman time and time again. This might sound like it can get repetitive, but that's what this is. It's the status quo. It's what stories involving these characters tend to be built around. Of course, not all stories with these characters have this status quo. There are stories that mix things up, but overall, this is the norm. But what if it wasn't the norm? What if Tom got tired of chasing Jerry? Or Mario got tired of fighting Bowser? Or what if Sonic got tired of facing Dr. Eggman? This is what I would classify as the forbidden question. Questions that tend to come up in our minds, but are never asked in the franchise. However, I think there is a pretty good reason why these questions are avoided. Sonic IDW, probably one of the most controversial pieces of Sonic media. No one can decide if it's good or not. And personally, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm still making my way through Sonic IDW right now, and it sure is interesting. But what I do want to talk about is a question that is tackled in Sonic IDW. During the story, the question comes up of whether Sonic should just kill Eggman. And why hasn't he done so already? And in my opinion, this counts as a forbidden question, and it shouldn't have been brought up. Because what this does is apply a moral dilemma to Sonic, a static character who probably shouldn't be going through moral dilemmas. You have other characters for that. But even beyond that, you have now messed with one of the core dynamics of the Sonic franchise, the fact that Sonic fights Eggman. You have to have a really good answer to this, or it could mess up that core dynamic. There are more reasons why I think this question shouldn't have been brought up, but before I get into that, I want to go over other dynamics and apply the same logic that's being applied here to those. Why hasn't Mario just stopped Bowser? Like, for good? This is a question that shouldn't be asked, but why shouldn't it? Because it doesn't have an answer? No, because it does have an answer, and the answer is pretty obvious. The reason why Mario doesn't kill Bowser, or the reason he goes kart racing with him, or plays party games with him, and other villains he's gone up against, is quite simply, this isn't the franchise for that type of question. These are goofy, fun characters who occasionally get into a scuffle, but at the end of the day, these aren't the type of characters to be asking that question with. That doesn't mean this franchise can't tackle deep subjects or questions like this, but at the end of the day, the Mario franchise is meant to be fun, and Bowser is just meant to be a mustache-twirling goofy villain. It's the reason why Super Mario Odyssey's ending was the way it was. There are a lot of people who hate this ending, and I too hated it at first. It was strange that despite us heading to the moon, and Bowser being the villain, that Peach, like, she was still entertaining Bowser when he brought up his bouquet. It wasn't that she didn't choose Mario, it was that she didn't, kick Bowser or something. But the issue is, I think we're all misunderstanding the ending. We're applying real-life logic to these cartoon characters. Super Mario Odyssey is a very climactic feeling game. We've stopped Bowser before, We've rescued Peach before, but never on this scale. It's all so grand, but the ending is really goofy. At least from my perspective, I think the ending was just kind of meant to show, despite the grand journey we've just been on, these are still the same goofy characters. It was meant to be a sort of reset back to the status quo, to show that Bowser's still the goofy villain, and nothing's really changed. There's no statement being made here. Why hasn't Tom and Jerry just wrapped up their rivalry? Wouldn't one of them just tire of this game, and if not wanting to end it, wouldn't they, move on or something? Well, once again, the answer to this dilemma is quite simple. One, it's a cartoon. We're once again applying real-life logic to a cartoon. Not saying cartoons can't tackle these serious subjects or can't have logic, but obviously we're not supposed to apply that logic to Tom and Jerry. And two, to a certain extent, both of them enjoy the hunt, in Tom's case, or the chase, in Jerry's case. Yeah, they hate each other, but to a certain extent, this is fun to them. Certain franchises just aren't built for certain questions. I don't call them forbidden questions because they don't have an answer, but because they do have answers, and asking the question doesn't add anything. Like, no one expects Crash Bandicoot as a franchise to ask the question, why doesn't Crash just kill Cortex? Because Crash Bandicoot as a franchise is far too goofy for that. It literally takes after old cartoons and always plays fast and loose with its logic. Crash Bandicoot probably isn't the franchise to be asking those serious questions with. And the one time they did hint at something darker that was meant to be played seriously in Crash 4, it felt very out of place against the rest of the game's lighter tone. Which brings me back to everyone's favorite book, Sonic IDW. Quick rundown. Eggman has kicked off the metal virus, and if Sonic had acted earlier and killed him, then this could have been avoided. Now, this dilemma is already flawed because Eggman literally had amnesia before this, so of course Sonic wasn't going to kill him. And for some reason, characters want to point out how it's Sonic's fault for not killing him, but no one suggests prison, or at least, something where they can keep a close eye on him. But that's neither here nor there. Essentially, Sonic's response to why he hasn't killed Eggman is he wants him to turn over a new leaf, and he won't let his bad actions change him. The issue is, this answer makes no sense. One of the big reasons why this question shouldn't be answered, in my opinion, is Sonic has tried to kill Eggman before. Like, not deliberately. He doesn't, go out of his way to, rid the universe of the guy. But Sonic's actions through the games and other media blatantly show he doesn't really have any regard for Eggman's safety. He'll let him blow up. He'll let him be, trapped in time. He'll take the fuel from his jetpack and let him plummet back to Earth. He very obviously doesn't care about Eggman's well-being. But suddenly, now he's talking about how he wants him to turn over a new leaf, as if he hasn't put Eggman in extreme danger time and time again. And what makes this answer even weirder is that he states he doesn't want to kill Eggman because he wants him to become a better person. But then that begs the question, what about the characters Sonic has killed? The IDW comics tend to forget that Sonic doesn't have a no-kill rule. He's not like a psychopath or anything, but if he feels like you're a danger, he'll take you out. So why is he suddenly talking about turning over a new leaf with Eggman? In my opinion, that's the reason why this question shouldn't have been tackled. Not because it doesn't have a response, but because the response is already there. Of course, Sonic isn't going out of his way to kill Eggman, but it's very obvious they don't particularly care about each other's well-being. And suddenly pretending like Sonic does care, it feels a bit disingenuous. Now, the Sonic series is no stranger to tackling darker subjects, so tackling the themes of the idea of a no-kill rule, I don't think that's particularly out of Sonic's league. It's just that the execution wasn't done well, in my opinion. And putting something like that on Sonic makes no sense to me. With that being said, don't get it twisted. This isn't saying you shouldn't ask questions or shouldn't tackle darker themes in cartoons or something like that. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think you should explore the things you want to explore in cartoons and such. What I am saying, though, is that I think you should be careful with the questions you do tackle and whether it fits the franchise you're writing the story for. I think next time when we think, hey, why hasn't this character done this? Or something like that, we should slow down and really think about if the question should be asked in the first place. Thanks for watching. So, if you made it this far, and I'm shocked. Thank you for watching this far. I know the mic quality is probably not the best. I'm still figuring it out. If you did indeed like the video, toss a like my way, or subscribe for more. That's all. Bye.